Okay, so we finished it. Week 2, we are now rolling into full-blown volume outreach, direct outreach, and this is where most people fail. We have people don't know how to do outreach. I get like 20 plus DMs on LinkedIn all the time, and it's just somebody blabbing about their offer and their value and like trying to book a call with me in the first message. But then you also don't want to like pretend like you're not trying to pitch them something when you outreach to them either, so you don't open up with like some covert opener. There's a lot of ways to do outreach, but principally and foremost, and I'm going to dive into this in a future video, I'm really going to break down this whole system. People suck at outreach. They don't even diagnose, really look at your business. They just kind of like confuse 1,000 DMs with 1,000 iterations of sending outreach, because they're like, well, you get 1,000 points of data. Yeah, you get 1,000 points of data of the same one broken iteration that doesn't tell you. They try to like hack human nature instead of just learning how to talk to people. I think that's a diagnosis of a greater problem in society in general, if you're asking me. Week 2 is all about building prototypes. It's about skill acquisition. I started by just building website prototypes. That was actually putting together the acquisition system and allowing kind of the open gate for the back-end automations. I've been creating websites and speed-to-lead systems for data centers and energy companies. I started with lead generation and sales and home solar, automating my own setting and lead generation as an ambassador, and then I started basically offering that to other salesmen. I've implemented this in the past with a life insurance agent and a car shop. So I've gotten great results. I've generated like $72,000 for these businesses. And then I think I generated about $13,000 for this one life insurance agent before he moved on to do car sales too. So that was good while it lasted, right? I want to make a point of reaching out with zero proof and demonstrating proof or competency through proof proxy. That's what it is. It's basically you showing someone and allowing the emotional impact of them seeing the solution, the answer to their problems, and what it can look like for their business. That's what you're sending them. And in order to do that, you have to solve a real problem. You can't just spam outreach with some AI mass automated DMer. Like, you can't just do that. You can't be like, hey, you're probably struggling from this, and I help people do this, and I can get you these results. Is that worth the call? Like, don't do that, right? Like, manual outreach. The whole process of building a business is to demystify the process. That's why I'm doing it. I want to demystify how difficult this is, because ultimately you're talking with people and you're solving problems, and the worst thing you can do is just be trying to like chase the money and convince somebody to give you a shot. When you're chasing money, you just come at it from a desperate energy. I don't know if you knew this, but we hooked up a polygraph to a plant and then had a human think about destroying it, like burning it, or think about watering it, and the plant reacted. I'll have to go back to the specific journal and actually cite what it was that they were measuring particularly. Point being is that our thoughts have energy. We're starting to be able to measure this with the scientific method more accurately. And so you have to understand that that comes out through everything that you do. And it also reflects in your mental state. When you're just thinking about chasing money, you're not sound-minded when you're reaching out to people. You're trying to think about what you can say to get them to respond to you. And you're confusing desperation with being locked in. Excuse me. This is why I started by building prototypes this week, is because I needed to make sure I'm honing in my system of operation into a good product. You need to build a good product, and you need to approach businesses as a problem solver. And if you do that, you will be operating as a problem solver. You're a doctor, you're diagnosing issues, you're being specific, you're actually going to the businesses and seeing if they need your services, and if they do, why? How does that tie to outcomes with costs associated? How do you describe human buyer behavior and patterns without citing market data and sounding like some kind of pitch? And then from there you get permission to start a conversation with them, which they give you that micro yes that gets your foot in the door, and then you show them a proof proxy, which is for me a prototype system or a prototype funnel, landing page, back-end automation, website, ad. Because right now, a lot of B2B businesses that actually sell to other businesses, their acquisition process is broken right now, and you need to be cited by AI, and no one really understands how to do that. And that's one of the things that I've devoted extensive hours into understanding. And then systemizing ways to get these businesses seen and ranked by AI. I'll be covering a master guide on how to do that if you're a business trying to get seen by AI. I'm going to show you exactly how to do that yourself. If you want to learn more, you can click the link down below and just talk to me. But when I build these prototypes, I'm honing a system. I'm honing honing quality. I'm focusing on the customer experience, which Steve Jobs talks about as that's what you start with and then build the product around that, not start with the tech and then try to build in customer experience, right? So you start with that. You start by knowing that you're creating a good product. You start by identifying how you're going to deliver exceptional value to the customer. And then you are actually going out and solving problems in real time and DMing or emailing or calling businesses, explaining the problem very concisely to give you permission to open the door to that conversation. And then by delivering that proof proxy, you get your foot in the door and actually start to show them what it looks like. And they already gave you permission to do it, so they're interested in seeing what you come up with. That's how you avoid being scammy. That's how you avoid approaching with desperate energy and communicating through the black mirror in your hand that you just want money and you don't actually care about their business, because that's not how you operate a business. I can't express that enough to you. Speed and saying that money loves speed is true, but that's only when you actually know what you're doing. You need to get good at what you do and learn how to take what you're good at and turn that into a quality product. And then once you systemize delivering a quality product, then you go all in on speed. So that's why this week was all about building the proof of concept, honing in the system, delivering the proof proxy, orchestrating everything in product design around the customer experience. And that's what you should do as well after you get down your base acquisition system.